Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be looking at the Skil 12-volt PowerCore compact detail sander. This is a sander I picked up at Lowe's recently for 40 bucks. Normally they're like 60 bucks. Even at 60 bucks, I think it's probably a great deal. I really bought this because I wanted to have a little sander that I could put some interface pads to give me some loft and use that to break edges on different workpieces. Now this sander has a 1.6 millimeter orbit. So it's definitely for fine detail sanding. One of the really nice things about this sander that I was really surprised to find is that it comes with these abrasives. It comes with 4 packs of abrasives. We've got 80, 120, 180, and 240. And it's like, what? Really? It looks like there's about 10 pieces of each. So you get 40 pieces of sandpaper plus the tool only, $40. What? Crazy. I have got this piece of black walnut that is rough sawn. This is actually, I think it's what, 12 quarter, 8 quarter, 12 quarter, but I've glued it together. I'm actually making this into a bandsaw box. I can muck around with the surface and it's not gonna make much of a difference. We've got a couple things on here. There's a master control off and on, and that's kind of it. There's no speed control, it's one speed. All the dust collection is done in here. You just pull it out and you can empty it that way. We're gonna see how that works. So let's start off with some of our 80 grit paper. I'm not sure who makes their paper for them. It has that feel. Actually kind of looks like a Festool Rubin 2. Just line up the holes and put the battery in. Battery's fully charged. And here we go. Make sure you start with the sander on the workpiece. 80 grit, let's see how we do. One of the things to keep in mind, the pad is fairly hard on this sander, so this has a lot of undulations in the surface of the wood, so it's not going to be that even. Like you can see here, there's more removal than over here. So far, the sander is fairly easy to control. The vibration doesn't seem to be too bad. It does feel a little more vibration than, let's say, some of my Festool sanders, but nowhere near the vibration of my old Ryobi 5-inch sander. But as you can see, it's getting better. Some of these sawtooth marks are really deep. And as you can see, I'm not putting any pressure on the sander, just letting it kind of do its thing. There is some internal fan that's going to be doing some of the suction, and we're just letting it do its work. We're not trying to do too much to encourage it. I think that's going to be good. So there's still some retention of particulate dust on the paper. The suction's not that hard. Of course, we're not using an extractor, so that's part of that reason. And as you can see here, there are definitely, like, saw marks, striations here. We're not going to worry so much about that. We've got a fairly decent finish between those saw marks. I mean, these saw marks are very deep, and this is a 1.6 millimeter stroke. It is not a fair task to try to make this level it all out. This will, over time, we can totally sit here and level it all out, but that's going to take a long time. For something like this, you want something more aggressive. You want something like a 5 millimeter orbit, or maybe even a Rotex gear-driven type of sander to really bring those down. Truly, you should be surfacing this on a jointer and then planer. But for today, we're just going to do that. So now we got the 80 grits. Let's move on to the 120. If you're new to sanding and woodworking, you'd want to jump no more than, I guess, 40 grit. We're jumping more or less 40 grit, which is half of 80. So half of where you're coming from. So there we go, 120, and let's go. All right, pretty good. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's nice. That is nice. Okay. Again, here there's a lot of striation because it's just the saw marks are just really, really deep. Now we're going to jump up another 60, which is half of the 120, right, to 180. Oops. And then here we go again. The dust is getting inside all those rough sawn marks, but you can see where there's not rough sawn, it's feeling really nice. Wow, this is, all right, very nice, very nice. Now let's go up to 240. The 240 is going to round out our papers that came with the sander. All right, 240 grit. As we've been talking about, you can always see the divots caused by the rough sun. But here, where there is no divots, where we have been able to get good contact with the pad of the sander. Wow, yeah, this is what we want for 240. Actually, it's really, really a nice surface there. I'm very pleased with that. All right, we're going to do a little finish on here just to see how it might look. This is Teddy's polymerized tung oil paste from Sutherland Wells, one of my favorite finishing companies. I'm going to put a little bit on right here to see. This is just a wipe-on kind of finish. Oh yeah, that's quite nice. Look at that. Yeah, all right, that's good. That's good. I'm pleased. Now, like I said before, the main reason for buying this Skil is to use it as a sander for breaking edges. So like if we have sharp edges like on the right here, I want to break them. And the idea behind that is you're going to be using high grit sandpaper, like 240. But we don't want it to be too hard. We want it to be nice and soft. So what we need are interface pads to help round over that. So I've got some interface pads here. They're actually hard to find at a big box store or anything like that. I've not seen them at Lowe's or Home Depot, so it's something you have to order online. Companies like Festool for their sanding lines make their own interface pads. So I've got this one for their rectangular sander. Festool does not make an interface pad for their triangular DTS sanders, so I'm kind of disappointed there. But this will give us a good estimation of what we can expect. So you can see here what makes an interface pad. It's got the hook and loop on one end, and then on the other side it's got a little bit of a mesh, or not a mesh, but it's got a foam. So it's got some thickness. It can bend, and the nice thing about these, you can actually layer them multiple layers to get more thickness. We might actually end up doing that. So in case, we might just put them all together. So in this case, we're just going to line up the holes. So now we've got it all nicely aligned. Now we're not going to have alignment on sander because the holes just don't align. So we're just gonna mimic it. I'm not really worried about it fitting properly on the pad here, because that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of this is really just to get this foam flexibility so that we can do, and now we blocked all the holes. So there'll be no dust extraction happening here. This is, but it's really meant for breaking the edges. So we're gonna take this edge, we're gonna break it. That's it. Just like that, really fast operation just to remove the edge off of that. Now you can see here that it's very, it has, the edge has been broken, but it's not overtly, it's not like a true round over. I mean, it has been rounded over, but it's not like a 1/8 of an inch round over. It's just a light round over just to remove that edge. Actually, it's a little bit sharper here, so we can take off a little bit more. Oh yeah, that's perfect. You can, and this is best done with like 240, 320 grit, just something really high, so you don't, you're not removing a lot of material. You just want to move just the edge. That's pretty good. All right, that's the Skil PowerCore 12 compact detail sander, and my plan is to use it as an edge breaker. And if you want to use it, if you're thinking about getting it and using it as a regular detail sander, I mean, I think the results speak for themselves. It's a great value. Normal price is 60 bucks, I think, just for the tool plus the battery. Batteries are, I think, right around 40 or 50 bucks for each battery. But so you can get a whole setup for like, what's that, about just under $100. So nice little piece of kit. I would definitely recommend this right now after testing it out, but Skil is kind of impressive. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you liked it, please consider subscribing and sharing it with your friends on the different forums that you have. That'd be really appreciated, that, especially those who are talking about different products. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.